How are we doing, Incock family? I hope everyone is keeping well and keeping safe and trading safe. Now, I hope you guys are enjoying the content that has been released here. And yeah, guys, listen, if you guys are enjoying the content, then give it a like, give it a share. And if you've not already done so, subscribe to this channel when you get the chance to. Yeah. So today, I'm just going to speak about it's sort of that part 2 of using internal structure. Yeah. So we looked at what the differences were between external structure and internal structure was. And today we'll basically look at the things you can do in order to use internal structure to your advantage. Yeah, and things to note, just things to basically look out for when using internal structure. Because I know a lot of people do use internal structure, which is completely fine. But just understand some of the things that you could potentially do to maybe increase that probability. Yeah. So this example, I believe this was the same example I used when explaining sort of external and internal structure. So I thought it would be worthwhile just sticking to the same sort of part of the chart, right? So these black dots represent my swing structure, i.e. my external structure. Yeah, we had a breaking market structure here. After an impulse like this, what we're expecting a pullback. Now, we could sort of see those initial signs of a pullback when we see a change of character, because the change of character essentially is telling us potentially that the impulse is over, yeah, and the pullback is likely to occur, right? Now, if you're a bit more conservative, you might want to see an internal structure break, yeah. So in order to see an internal structure break, you need to identify your internal structure. So I'm just going to start from here. You have sort of red. You have sort of internal structures all the way down here, which is fine. I'll just start from here and mark out these key sort of internal structure points. Yeah. Now let me just zoom in here. So this essentially was the internal structure point that caused this this low here. Yeah. Now from here, what we see is, so like I say, if you see a change of character, definitely you've got reason there in order to look to get into these setups. Completely fine. But these are for sort of those traders who are a bit more conservative. And I thought, just doing this video probably help those traders out. Even if it helps them out, just a little bit, 1%. That is, that might go a long way. Yeah. So what we essentially want to see is a break here of internal structure. So when we see that break of internal structure, yeah, the first thing to remember is it is only a break of internal structure. Nothing has changed from a swing standpoint. Yeah, nothing has changed from a swing standpoint, like I mentioned in the part 1 of this. Yeah, so when we see this and then we put in this high, we can ultimately use the same rules that we would use, or the same sort of things that we would want to see when looking at external structure. Yeah, in order to get into these plays. So from here, one of the things that you can do is draw out that internal structure range, which is from here to here. Therefore, now we've got a discount and premium. Yeah, so we understand this is our discount, this is our premium within that internal structure range. Yeah, so in order to look to buy, look at POIs within your discount, because you want to ideally buy in discount. And when price gets into here with your entry criteria, and then look to play that next continuation. Then, secondly, if you then start to see, so basically this internal structure break has now given us really good confluence that price is ready to pull back. Yeah. Then we go ahead and break internal structure again. Remember, again, number 1, it's only internal structure, and this was the low that put in this high. Yeah. Again, what can we do? Well, we can identify our discount and premium just like we would from a swing structure standpoint. Yeah. But we're just doing the exact same thing from an internal structure standpoint. Now, the last thing I want to speak about is we can identify the exact same way that we would identify a swing pullback, or we can identify the exact same thing or look for the exact same things when looking at an internal pullback. Yeah. So if you look here, what do we have? We have an impulse and we have a corrective pullback. Yeah. Now, I have done a video on pullbacks. Make sure you check it out. This will make a lot more sense if you do check out that video as well. Yeah, even if you go back to this, what do we have? Corrective pullback. So no intention to go lower. No intention to go lower. Yeah. So what else is that corrective pullback doing? It's essentially creating cause to target. If you look here, creating cause to target. And in both of these examples, cause in the form of trendline liquidity. Yeah, so you're using sort of the same thing that we would use from an external standpoint, but now we've seen one break of internal structure, two breaks of internal structure, which means there's confirmation that the pullback is now on. Yeah, what do we have? We have an internal pullback followed by another internal break in structure. Now, this is where things can get a little bit complicated, right? Because you don't want to constantly just focus on internal structure and lose track on where we are relative to the swing point. Yeah. Now, look here. Exact same thing that we just spoke about here. I'm just going to apply it to the swing. Discount premium. What do we have? We've now come into a premium zone. Remember, swing structure is going to trump your internal structure. Yeah. We're going with that assumption. Now, there are times where it slightly differs, but price could go potentially higher. But in this instance, this is what we're going with. Yeah. So we've now come into a premium of that overall swing range, which means potentially that next impulse is likely to occur. And then again, what do we have? Relative to this impulse, we have a corrective pullback. Corrective pullback. Yeah. And it's just exact same thing happening, yeah, from an internal standpoint, guys. Yeah. Impulse, correction. Impulse, correction. Impulse. And look here. We don't get a corrective pullback. We get an impulse out of it, which essentially now we've broken internal structure to the downside. So now, from a swing standpoint, we're bearish. From an internal standpoint, we're bearish. Yeah. And what do we have again? We have a pullback. From an internal standpoint, we have a corrective pullback, followed by that next impulse, which ultimately led to this swing structure break. Yeah. So I just wanted to do that video just to kind of show you guys you can use the exact same principles essentially, yeah, as when you're doing your swing, and apply it to your internal structure. But make sure it's clear, yeah, and make sure you always understand where you are relative to your swing structure, like I mentioned in part 1. Yeah, that is very, very, very important. Yeah, and when you see sort of, I understand some people when they see change character, they're a bit hesitant to get in, which is completely fine. So perhaps you could look to get in after you see internal structure breaks. And when you see 2 structure breaks from an internal standpoint, that's potentially telling you that pullback is likely definitely going to happen at that point. Yeah. Now, like I say, price can do what it wants when it wants. Yeah, but we're just using these examples or these little clues that price is showing us in order to get into our positions. And one more thing, guys, just before I finish up. This, if you're trading like this, it works very, very effectively when you have a huge sort of intraday range, okay, or your intraday swing points are quite large, right? At that point, if you want to use these internal structures, completely fine. Yeah, but very important to always understand and keep a note of where you are coming into relative to your swing range. Yeah, and just following those principles of corrective pullbacks, making sure there's cause to trade towards, so on and so forth. Yeah, so I hope you guys took some sort of value from that. And yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just let me know. But I'm just going to wrap it up for the day, and I shall see you all in the next video.